Hello coders, in today's video let's understand about how slicing works in Python. Slicing is a very useful tool in the Python language, so I believe it is very important to have a good grasp of how it works. The basic notation of slicing is you having a list of characters or numbers or anything, and then you have these positions: start, stop, and step, with these separators in between them. So the start is where you want the slicing to begin. Stop is until where you want the slicing to go to. And remember, the value of stop is not included. So if we have 9 on stop, it will actually go until 8. We will understand this better with the code examples. And step is if you want to skip an item, you just use this one here and say, let's say I want every 2 items, you put 2. I want every 3 items, 3. The default value is 1, which means no skipping. So you go through all the items in the array. The indexes is another very important concept for slicing, which is in a normal list, you would have for the word movie something like this: in 0 index for M, 1 for O, 2 for V, 3 for I, and 4 for E. So this is how you reference each character in this string, in this list of characters, using these positions. But for slicing, the indexes are in between the characters, not on the characters, like I did here, which means that they should be read like this. 0 is here before the M. O is 1 is between M and O. 2 is between O and V. 3 between V and I, and 4 between I and E. And finally, we have 5 after E. We also have the negative index notation, which is very handy because you can slice your list by starting on the end of the list instead of the beginning. So I can start to slice on -1, which is the end of this list, instead of 0. We will also see some example of how this works, so this will look a little bit clearer. I hope so. Finally, we have another example here. So this is for movie and this is for my list. Okay, so let me delete these ones here. For my list, which is a list of numbers, the same idea. The indexes are in between the items and not on the items. So in our regular lists, this would be like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is how you reference each item on this list with these indexes here. On slicing, it's different, as I just talked about. They are in between the items. So this is very important to understand, to keep in mind at first. Okay, so let's see the first example. All right, the first one, I want just the first 2 characters. So how do I do this? I do it like this: print sliced. Okay, so let me see. Oh, I forgot to define the word movie. right? Okay, so this is the same of doing this, right? So notice that we could have used 0 to denote the beginning of the slicing, but it is not necessary because 0 is the default starting point. So I'm going from 0 until position 2. So 0 until position 2, and I get M and O, all right? This is how I get the first two characters, M and O, which is the same as doing this, because 0 is the default position for the beginning, right? As an example number 2, let's see how do we get the last item. I'm going to use the negative index notation, sliced E here. So I want then the last character in movie, which is E, okay? All right. So you can see that instead of going forward to try to get E, I'm just going backwards. So I'm not going all the way until the last position. I'm getting, in a manner of speaking, the first position in the negative index notation. This is similar to doing this to get the first position here. So instead of getting E, I'm getting M by using word 0, which is the first position. Okay, so this is very important to notice how the negative numbers also help us a lot to slice the list. The next example, let me show how step works. So we have our word movie here, and then sliced word 2, print, slice. So what this does is I will start at the beginning, I will go through the end of the until the end of the word movie, but it's with a step of 2. So I will print every 2 items. So it's M and then skip 1 and then 2 V, skip 1 and then 2 E. I'm skipping every 2, all right? So let's see how it works. MVE, right? So first and then step 2 V, first step 2 E, right? So this is how step works. And finally, a very nice trick here, it's something that you will see as a sort of a challenge in many programming languages, and in Python it's just trivial how you can do this, which is how to reverse an array. So I will take word and -1. So the default step is 1, positive 1, which means go forward 1 character of the string at a time. If you set the step to -1, you have the opposite. Go back 1 character at a time, beginning at the end of the string. So slides, this should give us the word movie reversed. Here, movie reversed. So it's a very nice trick to revert a string or a list, any kind of list, just by using this notation, the slicing notation. So I hope you find this video useful and you understand now better how slicing works so you can use it in your projects. Thanks for watching. Bye.